to possibly take it all. Of course, E-King, and even though he moved away up to Connecticut with us, you got Ling as well to try to defend the house.
That is correct, Ajax. The last champion that we had in offline was actually Ling in the first place, so he's defending the crown this time. As we go into the game, now, the first offense that we're going to start is going to be definitely NuNu, as we see the uses of the multi-hit nairs actually get some combos off. Now, Sora, because it's a lightweight and pretty floaty, it can be difficult to actually get some combos in right at the start.
Yeah, Sora does have very consistent strings, though, and that is such a good move at catching 2 frames on neutral get-up, so you got to be very careful. And that covered the buffer as well on the way up, because he used the up special to not only beat out the tether on its way up, but also catch neutral get-up again. So that's 2 times. That's probably going to scare NuNu and make him want to roll or something later.
Yeah, the name of the game is going to be to try to mitigate Byleth's offense with the range and to actually just try to get those combos going, as he's been doing such a good job so far, using the up special actually rack up some even more damage. Now the nairs are going to come in, and NuNu has to be been really good at maintaining the stage control as much as possible.
Primarily, most of the damage that's happened so far for NuNu has been the nair. Right there again. Every single time when you make a mistake with Sora on shield, you're going to get hit with nair. But the key factor is NuNu hasn't gotten the nair to dash attacks, the nair drag down follow-ups period yet for tech chases. So you have to make that work for you. Otherwise, you need to start finding throws and down tilts to get the party started.
Which means that Delta has to start actually using nairs and fairs, but starting fading away just enough to actually get one of those combos right there. Actually going fair 1, fair 2 into up special. Those confusions are going to be very pivotal, especially for Sora's offense.
Can even go for things like the short hop up air as well. There's so much. There's a lot of confirmed Sora has, and people. This character's not the easiest to play, so it took a while for people to start realize how solid he is. But of course, with the recent performances starting to show up, it's hard to look away from him right now. Look at this pressure; he keeps him stuck on the ledge.
Good recognitions on NuNu as well. As soon as he saw the down throw actually come out, he actually DIs out. That's not a true confirm, as we see him actually take this stock with only 54% of extra credit. So now Delta actually has to apply even more pressures, and he has those tools unlocked. He has those IDJ fairs as well.
I'm liking that Delta's also instantly reacting that when a combo is going to be dropped, he's going right up and getting the grab. And right after that, too, covered the roll-on with a down air and going all the way out there where Byleth is not the strongest. That recovery is pretty good, but not that far out.
It's going to be very important for Puerto Ricans to actually go onto the outside and get those punishes. And Delta, because he has Sora, is definitely not going to have any type of problems with that.
That was a really good attempt to try and catch that back air too, but nothing came of it. However, that's a bad spot. Yeah, you got to be careful when you go off like that, because all you need is just one hit for Sora off stage with that back air, and you can just chase him, because Sora's making it back no matter what.
Multi-jabs actually sending Sora onto the right side, and as we're seeing, we're trying to set up some sort of ledge trap situation. It's a little bit more difficult for Byleth to actually go on the outside, but the recovery is actually ridiculous on the tether as well.
I like how NuNu now is fading away, getting those down tilts also, beating out the short hop, because before the nairs, oh, you went for a risk. You went for it all, trying to catch that down smash. That's going to lead to a big punish as we see that forward smash end game 1.
Baiting out the defensive option. As soon as he saw the dodge, he knew he had an opportunity to strike, went for the forward smash, and Delta takes the first game.
Very solid play from Delta too, because when you are getting hit a bunch by nairs, or just in general getting beat out of shield, it makes you kind of scared to want to keep doing it. But he realized, like, well, your reward has been so minimal that it doesn't matter. Like, I'll take the one nair for the sake of when I've caught you, I've gotten 40-ish% every time. Or I've put you in disadvantage to the point where you freak out and I've won. That continued throughout the match. But one thing I did like out of NuNu as a continued chopper was the way that he was mixing up his answers to the approach game. And now we're actually seeing some of these lead into dash attacks. So it seems like he's waking up a bit more.
Sonic Blade is actually going to combo into itself with no problem so far. So good recognition on Delta, actually going to go to the left side. And again, it's so difficult to actually get some good combo strings going for Sora. Floaty character, light character, and hurtbox shifts, as we see that forward smash actually coming out by NuNu, who's starting to dominate the beginning of the second game.
NuNu's kind of said, stop holding forward now, because you were able to get away with it as much as you wanted last game. I'm not letting you do it now. NuNu has such a large lead, but you can't let Sora find one good, there's the opening. Oh wait, actually DI'd out with that, so it worked out momentarily. Up smash comes through and actually gets the first stock.
That's the problem you're going to have against Sora. All of the confirms, quote-unquote confirms that you're going to have from down throw are actually mitigated if you actually DI out. You are able to react on time. The only thing that you can get is at low percents, possibly a nair, and it is very frame specific.
Yeah, the main thing is you just kind of chase it, wait to see the defensive option, get the follow-up afterwards by making him panic, but NuNu's not panicking anymore. Up B comes out too. So Delta's not winning on ledge as much anymore either. Look at that. He's not. Before he won on ledge every time. I was complimenting the 2 frames. Now he's lost almost every single ledge trap. He finally gets a grab, but that was like after 4 losses in a row, so he's got to wake up.
So recognition on the DI that time, that's why they went for the up air in the first place to actually try to set up something. And now Nair 2 is going to try to set him up, but he doesn't get anything after that. It's going to be very important for him to actually get this grab and the stock.
I like that because about 8-ish interactions in a row, he always swung at ledge. Never once did he roll behind baiting the idea of a grab. That is not going to work all the time. That's a very obvious play, but NuNu fell asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, the conditioning is definitely there for Delta. The problem that I see is that he's going very aggressive. Maybe he's just going to start to reset neutral a little more and think about how he's going to want to approach.
Yep.
Because most of the stuff that he's actually throwing out is you're getting baited by the Byleth, and he's been using a lot of Sonic Blade that can get punished.
Well, funny enough, that Sonic Blade actually has been such a good answer to NuNu trying to look for the nairs. Because NuNu got an answer to the neutral air approaches, and then Delta realized, oh wait, I'm going to just switch it up. I'm going to go for a better burst. I'm going to use fire now. I'm going to use ice. I'm going to use Sonic Blade. And NuNu is actually taking more damage over time, which has been really good because all of a sudden this lead has been cut pretty heftily down to only 116 to 73.
Actually, just going for a couple of jumps. The forward smash is not going to connect that time. But actually using side special, going very down deep. Like we said, it's going to be very important for Puerto Ricans to actually go onto the outside instead of actually setting up ledge trap situations, just because the opponent feels uncomfortable in disadvantage.
Yeah, I've noticed a big thing with the playstyles around here is like it's just a mini game of neutral, and then it's usually only a reward of about 20-30ish%, and then a guaranteed reset of neutral. These two have been very aggressive, but that is going to catch him with the forward smash. Back down the last stock. NuNu's going to have to keep himself composed because he's had the lead the whole time, but you got to be careful about not messing that up. I don't have anything else to say because NuNu capitalized on that big, and we get a game 3.
Yeah, the recovery was a little bit too exploitable for Delta. I think it was too predictable that he was actually gonna try the ledge right with the up special. He could have just delayed it a little more and just try to mix up the angles with Sonic Blade before actually grabbing the ledge, and it was a good anticipation by NuNu, and we're actually going into game 3 because of it.
I think it was one of those moments where even though Sonic Blade has worked for you so many other times, you get panicky in those type of situations, especially when you've been behind all game, and then you go for the obvious play. The best players know how to constantly mix up their recovery in those situations without freaking out and disadvantage. It's way easier said than done, especially when you're on the big stage. But I think that NuNu has now gotten into Delta's head a bit. That being said, I don't think Delta's out because it was completely dominant game 1. You have that game 2, you put it in your back pocket, and there was a lot of adjustments being made with those Sonic Blades. I'm curious to see how he approaches it this time, if he goes back to the nairs on shield and try and pressure NuNu again.
Yeah, actually switching to the final form skin. Delta feeling a little bit of himself this time around, actually trying to force some more options into game 3. The key for NuNu is definitely going to be the distance game when it comes to actually playing against Sora, considering the sword is just simply longer.
Yeah, and also you want to beat Sora's stats every time that they're lurking at all times. To put how many times on stream they lost. Don't let it be you. Good answer with the dash attack. I actually haven't seen him go for those pretty often. And here we go. Frame trap. Oh, he had the frame trap, but he didn't get the grab. Doesn't matter. He still got him again.
A good 81% just to start off, and a good reversal of what we saw from the previous game. Actually getting some more damage in. Byleth actually does have his second jump, which is actually very important. Otherwise, that forward smash is definitely going to connect, getting another defensive option in.
That was good because he kept fading away, and he hadn't gone for a neutral a get-up punish in a while. I was actually curious if he was going to go for it. He did, and he was already kind of flow-charting to go for a forward smash on an air dodge punish. But then NuNu took forever and pressed no buttons. It's like, okay, I can press it again, because if I take a hit, I'm going to center. But if you take this hit, you lose the stock.
Now, the angles on the Sonic Blade is actually very important. We're not seeing him go straight down. He's actually using the slide onto the level, actually get some more distance in so Byleth cannot punish. Yep. So that's good recognition on Delta, actually not going for the third one. The third one actually has a lot more delay. The forward smash is going to connect that time. Only 29% of extra credit. Delta needs to step it up.
I like how both Delta and NuNu basically said, I'm going to land this forward smash. I don't really care if you plan to, like, what you think is going to happen. So now we have 2 stock speeds. Difference is, though, it's still 85% in favor of Delta right now. Doing his best to try and hold this lead. Sonic Blades are working. We haven't really seen a whole lot of punishes solidly from NuNu in that, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
A lot of shield holding by Delta. He's trying to actually bait out any type of option that Byleth is going to throw out, but he's really much in an advantageous situation. He might want to start pressuring with uppers a lot more, especially to work on that charging situation.
Now, up B's not going to be enough to do it just yet, but you went after neutral get up the last few times. He continues to go after it now and trying to get a huge play as NuNu. Can he find his spike? No, good delay. Avoiding it. Decides to go off stage, gives up an air dodge. Are you going to be able to get past this roll? He does. Walking back on Chopper. He's in a very dangerous situation right now, and that should lead to it.
Yep, just like you mentioned, stage control has been on hand for Gabs, and he has been on a monster tear as of the second stock.
Yeah, Delta definitely answering back, realizing what worked so well for him in the first game, pressuring on shield. These nairs are not coming out. He's getting the frame traps. He's forcing NuNu to hold shield and play very afraid.
Yeah, he's actually going for that second fair afterwards just to bait out any type of air dodge from the Byleth. He might want to start looking for other conversions besides down tilt on that front.
Oh, okay. I thought that arrow was going to land for a second. That was such a good attempt, but either way, Delta somehow SDs with Sora. So now we're on last stock here. Once that I give it up to either one of them who walks away with this, but I feel like this is Delta's game to lose the way he's been playing.
Yeah, so far so good, but Delta can be a little shaky when it comes to these types of pressure situations. And this is First Attack's 10th anniversary, and he is up on stage. You know, nerves is definitely a thing when you're becoming a top player, but now, so far so good in regards to racking up that damage. Closing it out is going to be the thing.
And combos have been consistent. B will take it as he catches him, and that's going to be Delta taking it over NuNu 2-1. And a very well-played set. There were a lot of good answers that came in, of course, from NuNu over the period of it. But right there, recognized he was on top of him, ended up landing right next to me. I'm going to go for up B. I'm only at 7%. If I mess up, that's fine. I'm going to Sonic Blade back down to the ground. And there's not a lot of things you could do to end me right here. There was a well-worth play, and he ends up taking the set.
It was definitely interesting considering the fact that NuNu was actually the one